oxtail. No first one should go with an oxtail. Give me a little bit. Yeah.
I'm Martha Leslie Allen. I'm the director of the Women's Institute for Freedom of the Press. We're located here in Washington, D.C., although we have associates across the country and some globally. We work on media democracy issues, opening up communications to the individual and not just the huge corporations that control the media. So we work on net neutrality and a lot of issues. One of our big concerns is violence against women. We care about all the issues that are not covered by the corporate mass media, and one of them is violence against women globally.
My name's Tanya Slitzerine. I go to American University and I work with the Women's Institute for Freedom of the Press.
My name's Sandy Slimchenmavong and I go to Marymount University.
Well, we started out as interns in early August, I think. And so we've transitioned to staff members since. And I looked online for internships and I found this one, and I'm interested in media democratization. I'm doing a minor in comm, and I'm interested in women's issues as well.
Yes, I also started off as an intern. I found it on my school website. It's been really cool working there. It's like dealing with a lot of issues like this that, really are important. So
yeah.
It's good to be a part of something that's doing something bigger.
Female genital mutilation is one of the important issues because it affects, millions of women and girls. It's a huge human rights issue, and there's over 135 million women that are alive today that have lived through FGM. More and more are speaking out. And we need to support and make it possible for them to lead more normal lives. So many women have died and suffered trauma because of this practice.
Well, FGM itself, I think it really needs a lot more awareness in the United States itself. I think a lot of people still don't know about it, which is terrifying because it's such a huge, huge issue. My personal opinion on it is obviously there's cultural foundations, there's cultural intricacies that you have to work through in order to address the issue, but there is no justification. It's not medically justified. It's really just another manifestation of the patriarchy and a way to control women and control their sexuality.
I got involved in the mid-1970s. Our organization was familiar with what was going on, but there wasn't as much support for change, and there were fewer people that were speaking out at that time. Even now, there is a lot of difficulty speaking out because of the pressure and the type of issue it is. When you talk about a lot of these private sexual things, it is difficult to go public. So now there are more people that are speaking out, writing their stories, dedicating their lives to making change.
When things become dangerous to people, when people start dying off things like this, is when you really have to start raising awareness, because it's not safe, it's not good for people. And the walk is great because it is raising awareness, and it's the first time and it's small, but if you keep doing it and keep doing it every year, then eventually people are going to catch on.
Mm-hmm. And I completely agree with her. I think there's a difference between tradition and mutilating people and threatening their
lives.
Their lives, their bodily security, and that's when it becomes a human rights violation.
And there are some women who really believe that this is really normal for a woman to practice the FGM, really make people understand this is detrimental to a woman's health, especially for African women and women in countries that really don't speak about this practice.
I don't really think it's on the national policy radar, to be honest. I don't think it's on the national agenda.
It's just one of those issues that kind of get overlooked, like most world issues that the media doesn't decide to, have an agenda on or portray, really.
I mean, I think education itself is the cornerstone to solving any human rights violation, any problem really in the world. I think that's where you have to start, education and raising awareness.
We did not, though, yet address the topic of female genital mutilation. It's a topic that a lot of people are not even aware exists. We're all here today to address the one cultural practice in particular that is causing harm to women in this country, and certainly around the world still. Until I started delving deeply into advocacy, I had only heard mumblings about female genital mutilation. Even after becoming entrenched in the legislative arguments and fights for other issues related to female body autonomy, I still didn't realize that FGM was one of the predominant safety issues facing women. It's performed without anesthesia, it's often performed with a razor blade, it's not safe physically or psychologically. Women who have been mutilated develop serious complications, and there are no known health benefits. It serves no valid developmental, religious, or health-related purpose. It affects 140 million women and girls worldwide, practiced in 28 African countries, in Indonesia, and in several Middle Eastern countries. To give you an idea, it is estimated that 97% of the women in Egypt will experience or have experienced female genital mutilation. That's for almost 40 million women in that country alone have had or will have this procedure, and little is being done to stop it. Contrasting this with another health issue that has received an enormous amount of press recently, the FGM poses a far greater health risk to U.S. citizens than Ebola does, but it is not being covered by the news. It's not being discussed at water coolers. In Guinea, Liberia, and Sierra Leone, the three countries most hit by the Ebola outbreak, in Guinea, 98.6% of women will experience female genital mutilation. In Liberia, 60% will experience it, and in Sierra Leone, 90% of women will experience FGM. Once the virus of Ebola is contained in these countries, it will come and go, but the practice, the epidemic of FGM is not going to go away until we bring enough awareness of it so that people are willing to try to stop it. Recently, a 17-year-old girl led a campaign to add education about FGM to the curriculum in schools in the United Kingdom. A petition to notify primary and secondary teachers that summer break is the time when FGM is normally conducted, so that the women have time to heal, and they sometimes are whisked away to other countries so that they're not in the underground cutting in the United States or in the United Kingdom. UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon publicly supported the campaign, and his words are that the health consequences of female genital mutilation include depression, insecurity, pain, infections, incontinence, and sometimes deadly complications in pregnancy and childbirth. Mothers shouldn't be terrified of giving birth to daughters. People should not be dying from complications of a procedure that is not medically necessary. It's been illegal in the United States since 1996, and transporting girls out of the United States for this is now punishable by 5 years in jail. But the procedure is still being performed in private, and it has gone largely underground. We must be careful not to exacerbate prejudices against certain minorities. The message against FGM has to come from within the community to genuinely make a true impact. Outside influences that vilify traditions will only further alienate the people that we're trying to help within the community who need to benefit from the message. 8,000 women and girls are mutilated in the world every day. 8,000 every day. The last known study, done in 1997, estimated that nearly 230,000 women and girls are at risk in the United States for FGM. It's performed for several reasons: to ensure virginity before marriage and to ensure a woman's fidelity after marriage, to control a woman's sexuality. Some women are sewn together and opened up only for conception, pregnancy, and delivery, and are otherwise sewn together. It is considered a human rights violation due to the physical and psychological impact it has on women and girls.
And so that I can tell you this story about this wonderful girl who mother became a victim of FGM, and she herself became a victim of FGM. This little girl grew up. Today, she carried a burden with her, but that chain has been broken today. She lived for over 40 years carrying the trauma of FGM, what happened to her when they used the knife on her. This little girl, mother died in childbirth because of what was performed on her she was unable to give birth naturally. When this little girl mother passed away, she had two pains to deal with. Her aunt came to take her to the village called Lofon, but she did not know that going into the village, they were going to do the act on her. She was just 9 years old. When they got to the village, the lady told her, before she got to the village, her father told her that you're going to the village for your aunt because your mother is in the village. So all she thought that her mother is in the village. So when she got there, 2 days later, her aunt took her to a bush. And she asked her aunt, where are we going? She said, oh, you're going to see your mother. And she was happy because when her mother died, she did not see her mother. They took her away. And her father told her that your mother is in America. No, her mother was not in America. Her mother was that. Her mother was there. So when they got in the village, in the bush, her aunt took her with 3 elderly women and they tied her face, laid her down on the ground, and she asked the lady what happened. Then she told the lady told her aunt told her that this is what we're gonna do, and you cannot say a word. And if you say a word to anybody, you're gonna die. They gave her water to drink. That little girl lied down. When she asked her aunt, where is my mom? Where's my mom? As they took the knife, she said, you cannot say a word. And she said, can I see my mom? She said, your mom just died. So she had 2 pins to deal with as this lady laid her down on the ground and began to cut her. So you can just imagine the pain that she has to endure. Because of time, I'm not going to go through the detail. But this little girl lied down as they cut her, and she cried for her mom. And the woman telling her that your mom died, but what we're doing to you today is purification. And in order for you to be pure, we have to perform this act. And all she could remember, was the crying. Many of your little guys today, maybe they're 9 years old, they have a picture of their mom. But that little girl never saw a picture of her mom. Her dad passed away. She only has a picture of her dad. And that little girl is me. I'm sorry. And that little girl carried this burden with her for over 40 years. She could not say the word because she never thought that she could express herself to say that it is wrong